Have you ever wanted to do something morally wrong just to see if fate would absolve you? Because deep down, the intention was righteous? Well, mine was revenge, the kind of passionate, velvet-clad kind, smelling of sin and tasting like honey dripping from the wrong spoon. And I did it, with gusto. If you put me in the same position, I'd do it again. My name is Beatrice. I'm 28 years old, and I'm a seamstress for Madame Vielmont, one of the most renowned in the Henbury area of England. They say I have a strong temperament, wildcat eyes, and a sensuality that oozes effortlessly. I'm allergic to men who think they're smarter than women. And unfortunately, I got involved with one of them. His name was Leonard, a gentleman only on the surface, his hair always slicked with wax, his jacket neat, and that kind of smile that was too white to be sincere. He was the youngest son of a widow who frequented the boutique, always accompanied by his stepfather, Mr. Ambrose, but more on that later. At first, Leonard was charming. Scented letters left on my doorstep, drunken serenades at midnight, sweets stolen from his mother's salon. But as soon as the routine got into gear, he snapped out of it. He started with subtleties. He'd turn his pocket watch inside out, disappear on horseback rides that seemed to last days. He'd always claim some mishap at the stable or a telegraph error. Of course, a woman of substance like me doesn't immediately question. We observe, we sow silence, and reap the truth. And the truth came in the form of a letter written by his own stepsister, sweet Cecily, with whom I exchanged confidences and cinnamon buns. In the letter, a hand-drawn portrait, Leonard kissing a certain Eleanor, a piano teacher known for opening up more than sheet music. The scrawled caption read, "When the keys touch desire, the body dances along." I smiled, not with anger, but with relief. From that moment on, I was free and ready, and what I wanted was to get even not just in kind, but in a way that was worth more. That's when Ambrose, the stepfather, came to mind. A man of the past, proud, a former soldier with neatly trimmed grey hair, a steady gaze, and a deep voice that vibrated like a cello. He always treated me with rare kindness. Too much kindness, if you know what I mean. When I showed up at the Vielmont mansion to deliver dresses to Madame, he was the one who offered me tea with that sideways smile, discreet but full of intentions. A gentleman, without a doubt, but with a presence that made my skin tingle. The following Saturday, Leonard left for a recital with that Eleanor, and his mother, as I learned from Cecily, had gone on a spiritual retreat. Ambrose would be alone on the estate. And I went to bring a walnut cake with caramel frosting and a heart filled with ill intentions. Ambrose answered the door wearing only tailored trousers and a white shirt open at the collar. The afternoon sun streamed through the window and illuminated his slightly hairy chest. "What a nice surprise," he said, with that look that had me undressed before the door had even fully opened. "I came to bring you a cake. Are you busy?" I asked with the most practiced innocence of my life. "I never would be, if you're the one knocking on the door." The house smelled of polished wood and freshly brewed coffee. We sat on the living room sofa. He spread his legs, I crossed mine, careful to expose part of my thigh beneath my summer dress. I told him about the betrayal. I told him about Leonard, the mockery, the pain. He listened in silence. His gaze remained fixed, as if reading words I wasn't saying. When I finished, he took a deep breath. "You don't deserve this, Beatrice. A man who betrays a woman like you is a fool, or blind, or both." "And what would a smart man do?" I asked, leaning forward slightly. He looked at me that way. Slow, steady, penetrating. "A smart man would make you forget the other ever existed." I smiled, a lopsided smile. I touched his thigh with my fingertips and whispered, "Then make me forget." He didn't hesitate. He pulled my waist with precision, kissed me with mature urgency. A kiss that didn't ask permission, it just happened. He laid me on the sofa with the care of someone holding a crystal and the desire of someone who wants to shatter it into 1,000 pieces. My clothes fell like autumn leaves. I was left in only my black lace petticoat, my heart racing. He ran his fingers over my lips, then over my chest, and lowered himself like someone who knew the way. When he entered me, it was with intensity and dominance. Each thrust of his thrust said, without words, "Now you are mine." And I was. Body, soul, and revenge. We ended up laughing, like two sinners who had just committed the most delicious crime of the week, and it was in his low, muffled laugh against my neck that I realized revenge was just beginning. I left the mansion with the limp gait of someone who had survived an earthquake of pleasure, and with a taste for more. The following Tuesday, I received an unusual message delivered by little Elsie, the maid. "If you wish to repeat Saturday night, I will be alone. Bring wine. And come without anything underneath. Signed, A." And me? I obeyed. I chose a red velvet dress, fitted to the hips, with a modest neckline at the back, and went. The flower already warmed, my heart pounding. He opened the door with hungry eyes. Before night fell, we were already on the floor of the drawing room, and the wine hadn't even been opened. The Persian rug became our accomplice, and the walls heard muffled whispers. When it was all over, he hugged me and whispered, "You're going to end up making me addicted." And he did. If you're as involved as I am with this story, subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications, because in the next chapter, things will heat up even more, and not just on the kitchen stove, if you know what I mean. I trembled not just with fear. There was something else, something burning inside me, like the steam escaping from a kettle left on the stove. Call it madness, or call it addiction. I called it Rogerio. That night, after Lionel rushed off to a political appointment at the municipal club, Vicente, his stepfather, took me with a fierce intensity, as if telling me with his body that I was his and no one else's. In the dim light of the room with its embroidered curtains and Persian rugs, I surrendered myself shamelessly. He laid me down on the velvet armchair and made my skin his secret banquet. Perhaps it was the lavender perfume he wore, or the sultry summer heat that made our bodies damp even before we touched. But I knew it wouldn't end well, and yet I couldn't stop. The next morning, my hair still disheveled and my soul throbbing, I received a note on letterhead, written in a firm, masculine hand. "On Thursday, the house will be empty. I want you in my room, in a dress, without petticoats. Let's make that bed creak like never before." Vicente's boldness was as big as his grip, and I, like a daring young woman from the Belle Époque, obeyed without blinking. All week, I thought of nothing but that colonial bed, the linen sheets, and his body on mine. On Thursday, I went as he asked. A dark green satin dress with a side slit and a generous neckline. No petticoats, nothing underneath. Just perfume, crimson lipstick, and the boldness of someone who's already burned bridges behind her. I rang the gate bell, my heart in my throat. Vicente answered, his cotton shirt open to his chest, exuding the scent of wood and virility. His eyes roamed my body as if every curve were a treasure map. "You're indecent, Lucia," I murmured, a smile on my lips. "And you're deliciously brave." He pulled me in urgently, carrying me straight to his room upstairs. He locked the door, threw me onto the bed as if he were keeping a precious secret. The dress rode up, his hands descended. And then, when he turned me onto my stomach, the bed actually began to creak. Each thrust had the rhythm of a forbidden waltz. "You were born for this, you know," he whispered, his breath hot against my neck. "To be yours? With me, you will be my way." And I did, with gusto, with abandon. Pleasure throbbed between my legs like a bell at a solemn mass. We did it standing against the wall, sideways on the bed, even on the polished wooden floor. I no longer knew where my body ended and his began. But then, the inevitable. As the ecstasy dissipated and we lay there, sweaty and panting, we heard an unmistakable sound. A key turning in the door. Who the hell? Vicente jumped to his feet, his eyes wide. It's Lionel, he whispered, his face pale. He took the spare key. He must have come to get some document. Lucia, hide, now. I grabbed the dress and ran to the closet built between the bedroom cabinets. I huddled among winter coats and antique hats, my heart in my throat. The sound of the front door opening echoed like thunder. Vicente, are you around? Yes, just resting a bit. What happened? I left the train company paperwork on the living room dresser. I came to get it. Footsteps followed, drawers opened, the tense silence of imminent discovery. I was sweating, my dress sticking to my skin. The perfume mixed with his scent still lingered on my body. I was a bomb, about to explode. But he left. Just like that. He slammed the door and left, unsuspecting. Vicente opened the closet door. I was curled up, hugging my knees, the dress lying beside me. Are you okay now? Everything okay? I almost laughed. I almost got caught naked in your wife's house. But the danger only increased the desire. He kissed me right there, and before I could breathe, we were on the floor, doing it again. Faster, wilder, more forbidden. When it was over, I lay there staring at the ceiling, my heart pounding. This is becoming a problem, he said hoarsely. Or a delicious solution. That night, I slept right there, in the guest room of the Monteverdi mansion, among old portraits and family furniture. A place where, until yesterday, I was just my stepson's young fiancé. But in the morning, something changed. Lionel sent me a note. We need to talk. I messed up, but I want to make it right. I miss you. I laughed heartily. The man cheats on me, treats me like a pastime. And now, when he feels he's lost control, he comes back with sweet words? How audacious. But I accepted, not out of longing. As a strategy, something told me the end of this story was waiting, and I would make a point of watching in heels, lipstick, and a vengeful smile on my face. I went to Café Aurora, downtown. I wore a tight, light blue dress, a bun on top of my head, and a light veil over my eyes. Lionel arrived late, as always. He sat across from me, trying to decipher my new posture. You look different. That's what happens when we sleep peacefully. Lucia, I made a mistake, but I don't want to lose you. We agreed. It was fun. Light. Light? You cheated on me with the dance teacher at the Harmonia Society. The lightness ended there. He lowered his eyes. I knew it was an act. What he felt wasn't missing me. It was the absence of control. I didn't come here to get back together. I came to tell you that I too got involved with someone. Someone I know? Very well, actually. I smiled. Vicente. The name left my lips with a taste of... First he laughed, then he paled. You're joking. I've never been so serious. We've been together in every room in this house, including your bed, but I confess, the mattress is too soft. He stood up, swore, and dropped his cup. People stared. I remained seated, serene, with a slight smile. The kind of scandal you can't buy, you surrender with style. On the way back, I wrote to Vicente. I think he knows now. He replied minutes later. So now, finally, we're free. Oh, and you? Yes, you who listened to me this far. Tell me, what would you do in my place? Would you forgive? Would you get revenge? Do you think I've lost myself? Or found myself? Leave your comment below. I want to know where you're listening to me. And if you want more, Wait for the final chapter. It will take your breath away. I'd already imagined it. He'd acted strange the night before. But you know what? I'm with him. No matter what. That thought warmed something inside me. A heat that wasn't just between my thighs, it was in my chest too. A pleasant new discomfort that made me tremble and smile at the same time. Was this falling in love? In the following days, he and I saw each other with less guilt. We began going out to neighboring villages, discreet dinners in private dining rooms, meetings in hidden cafes in the old city center. He was attentive, perceptive, joking about my outbursts, understanding my silences, and holding my hand when I needed it, and other things when I wanted it. But not every passion escapes reality unscathed. And that week, the villain went by the name of Bernarda, Diogo's mother. She found out. I don't know who told her or how, but the truth spread like kerosene in a flame, and the explosion fell on him. They argued. She cried. He tried to explain that it wasn't just lust, that there were feelings, that it all started after Diogo and I broke up. But to Bernarda, it didn't matter. The betrayal was emotional, not just moral. And she left, sending only a short note. I need distance. He was devastated. And I, for the first time, felt a weight that didn't come from desire. It wasn't guilt for Diogo. He got what he deserved. It was for Bernarda. She always welcomed me tenderly. She welcomed me into her home with steaming coffee and warm laughter. And now, there, in that very room, I had whispered loudly, naked, with her man. I thought about disappearing, but he sought me out. I won't let it end like this, he said, his eyes firm and sincere. I want you, not just for what we have in bed, but for everything. You've turned me inside out. I've been a different man since I met you. I cried. I cried with anger, with guilt, with desire, and that night we made love as if it were a farewell and a new beginning all at once. It wasn't just pleasure, it was catharsis. Skin, soul, redemption, and I knew this was no longer revenge, it was love. When Diogo found out, the town came to a standstill. Bernarda stayed away. Contrary to what I had imagined, he didn't hide. He defended me, spoke of his feelings. For the first time, I felt I was the chosen woman, not someone else's leftovers. Bernarda returned to the village weeks later. Their conversation was long and bitter. She didn't accept it. She said it was shameful, a double betrayal, and I understood. I didn't insist. I, too, had been left behind. What he and I had built was sown among ruins. We didn't ask for permission, nor an apology. We spent some time apart. Vicente needed to settle his issues. I returned to work, to reading, to sewing. But nothing was the same. I already knew the taste of a body that responded to mine with fervor. I already knew the pleasure of a man who looked at me as if I were made of silk and sin. And that, my love, is unforgettable. 2 weeks later, he returned. He knocked on my door with a bottle of cognac and a look as if he hadn't slept in days. He didn't say anything. He just grabbed me by the waist, rested his forehead against mine, and whispered, I can't stay away from you. I collapsed. My pride crumbled, my posture dropped, leaving only my mouth on his, my nails on his back, and the certainty that this madness was my home. We acted as if time had stopped, like two lovers who had already lost everything but each other. He undressed me slowly, kissing every curve of my body as if saying a prayer. He looked me in the eyes as he entered, held me against his chest as we finished together, and then wrapped me in the blanket, stroking my hair until I fell asleep. The next morning, we had breakfast together, he in his underwear, I in one of his shirts. We laughed at the irony of life. You've become my stepdaughter and my lover, he said teasingly. And you, my ex-father-in-law and current boyfriend. We laughed. Because what was supposed to be a scandal became a private joke between two people who had rediscovered each other. A A few weeks later, Diogo erased me from his life. Bernarda didn't say another word to me. And that was okay. I no longer belonged to that world either. I grew up. I became a woman who chooses, who asserts herself, who doesn't bow her head for the comfort of others. Vicente and I moved on unhurriedly, without promises, but with desire, with truth, with thirst for each other. He treated me firmly, but also with gentleness, and I felt safe, for the first time, connected. One afternoon, lying on the porch, he said, "I watched you grow. You arrived here naive, trapped by a scoundrel, and now you're a free woman. That enchants me more than anybody." I smiled. I kissed him tenderly, and I thought, he made me grow too. Today, looking back, I don't feel guilty. I feel proud. Because I didn't wallow in pain. I transformed betrayal into redemption. I reinvented myself. I became the protagonist of my own story. And what a protagonist! I know many will judge me. They'll say I was wrong. But the truth is, everyone takes care of their own bed. I took care of mine. With sweaty sheets, muffled whispers, and truths that scream in the silence. Vicente was my most delicious mistake, and also my most unexpected success. He showed me that the forbidden can liberate, that passion can heal. Will this last? I don't know. But while it does, it will be with fire, with hunger, with wholeness. Because I wasn't born to live on crumbs, and if someone ever asks me, "Do you regret sleeping with your ex's stepfather?" I'll smile, cross my legs, and answer, "I regret not having done it sooner." And that's it for today. If you've made it this far, comment where you're watching from. I love hearing where this story touched you. And of course, tell me what you thought of this ending. Would you have done it differently? See you in the next video. See you then.